Well, good evening, everybody. I hope that you are having a phenomenal Friday evening. As you can tell, I have a guest with me. This is the first time we have an in-studio guest with two mics. The last time we did this, we had to hand over mics to each other, and the space
Did we?
I was giving it to you. And,
No, we weren't. Oh, really?
yes.
I don't remember.
Yes, and also, so space was the desks were I feel like we have more space here. We're so that's good. I have titled this show Mrs. Apologetic Answers Your Burning Questions. We'll wait for folks to jump in here, and thanks for being here. Drop a comment, hit the like button. We'd appreciate it, everybody, because that helps. And this is my wife, Araz. Her name is not Mrs. Apologetic, even though we should come up with shirts that say Mr. Apologetic on it and Mrs. Apologetic on it.
Are you gonna have
what's
my face,
like the new no one's
like
face.
my silhouette, like you do on yours? Why not?
No faces for that.
Why not?
No, that one's just gonna be wording. No, it's not gonna have my face either, because people won't wear my face and it says Mr. Apologetic on it. It's just weird.
But you have sweaters. Why can't I?
That's
have my
different.
Own
That one's different. What's up, Daryl? How you doing, brother?
Hello.
So,
are we supposed to say hola? Hola, ¿cómo estás?
So what would be? She teaches English as a second language. What would be like the way to write that without offending women who aren't Mrs.
It has to be MS.
Hi there, Arthur and Mr.
It'll be Ms.
Miss Apologia Center. Zach. I just called her Mrs. Apologetic, but that's because Mr. Pesabi has called me Mr. Apologetic on countless occasions, and I like it. I quite like it that he says Mr. Apologetic, and we're just going to call her Mrs. Apologetic. So she's going to answer your questions. I'm going to have questions for her. I can answer your questions.
You have questions?
I don't know. I might. I always have questions. I have questions about life. And we're just kind of gonna hang out. Maybe if there's single people on here, males and females who are looking for relationship advice, you can give them relationship advice. Maybe here's the other thing, to be like a bit candid or whatever. Maybe you can give people relationship advice particular to interacting with personality types that are similar to me. That's good. That's a mouthful. Because I know my personality type. I know what my issues are. And she knows what her issues are. And so we both know what our issues are. So we can give you guys advice on that. Or we can talk about just generally Christianity.
We can also
and your
matchmake
faith.
too.
Oh, she's always trying to hook people up.
Based on their personalities, not just randomly.
Okay, so I guess this might turn into like a dating.
We'll see.
Submit a resume. Submit a resume, and then
a video, because I need to see your personality.
Oh, and then she will see if. I'm just not gonna do that because I probably wouldn't do a good job at it. So. Here's my first question. I
have one couple that are still married with children.
That's good.
So that's a good success rate. Actually, two.
I'm not going to ask who they are because that would be my natural
I would
question.
not say who, but they're married with children, both of them, not divorced, which is good.
Am I missing something here? It says, I'm with Mrs. Apologetic, shirt with an arrow. No, she was saying not an arrow. She was saying put a silhouette.
Yeah.
I don't know what that arrow would look like. Yvonne says, what kind of questions? Any kind of appropriate questions, Yvonne or Ivan. We've been married 11 years. She's looking at me like I'm wrong about that.
No, I calculated in my head.
I don't need to calculate in my head because I know.
I was like, wait, I have a 10-year-old son, so
We've been married 11
years
years.
is
We're
correct.
coming up on 12 years. In May, it'll be 12 years. We have.
If you ask for Hagen in 240 days,
Wow.
approximately.
Oh, because his birthday is the
His
day
birthday,
after.
Yeah.
We have 4 children. Here's my first question. You never went into marriage expecting to have 4 children.
No. I expected to have 3, and I was very happy with 3. And then...
Okay. And then what? Don't make it sound like I forced you. Don't make it sound like I forced you to have a
And then the 4th
child.
came, and I'm happy with 4.
Would you be happy with 5?
No. Definitely no. A big no.
Well, my thing is like if God wants more sanctification out of you, you might end up having 5. I'm just saying.
I think God has to do a huge miracle for me to want to have a
That's true.
5th. Like
That's
a huge, like parting sea kind of a miracle.
How do you children? I'll throw this question up there because Arnold's asking. He says, "Mrs. Apologetic, why aren't you a Calvinist yet?"
Because I don't want to be.
That's the wrong answer. That is such
because it's the wrong thing to be.
That is such a bad answer. The proper response would be because I don't think that's what the Bible teaches.
Yeah, but I didn't want to offend. So
that's not what you said. More offensive. Oh gosh. Hey Sirap, how you doing? In what ways do your children help in the process of your sanctification? You can like particularly say particular things as to like children make me be more patient.
do they?
Well, probably not. They teach you to be impatient. They probably bring out our impatience out more.
Yes.
Like we might think we're patient people, and then you have children, and then you realize you're not as patient as you thought you were.
But I'm definitely more patient than you are.
I don't agree with that.
You want? Should I call the kids?
No, because they just take your side. I know one of them is going to be on my side and the other 2 are going to be on your side. That makes no sense. That's just because they just agree with you. That's not fair. But I think I'm more patient.
You don't think I'm more patient than you?
No, I'm generally a more patient person than you are.
Okay.
No question about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's one of my really good qualities. I'm patient. Maybe you have a different understanding of what patience is.
Or maybe you have a wrong understanding of patience.
I don't think I do. How do you define patience?
When you're not quick to get angry.
No, see, that's just like you're just not quick to get angry. That's a part of patience, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
But you can be patient towards a bunch of other stuff. And that's not true. You probably yell at the kids.
We need to have the children
This is
here.
we're having marital like counseling in front of you guys. This is a good one. Okay, Josh says, for me, children gave me more mercy, patience, and helped me see myself as little kid towards God.
Yes, that's for sure. It having children makes you like see and experience God's love in a deeper level.
Yeah, 100%. There's no question about that. I think kids do things where you kind of go like, oh man, like, I probably experience deeper emotional feelings when love is expressed to me from my kids than anybody else on the planet, including you. Like part of it, I think, is because like there's an innocence of it. I think there's a simplicity of it. So like if I remember, who was it? I've told this story a bunch of times. Probably Alva, I don't know, or it might have been Valgan. But I think I was like putting him to sleep, and he just like looked at me and he's like, "I love you." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I didn't
That's
do
so
anything
cute.
for him to say this. I didn't like, nothing prompted that. Like I didn't give him a toy. I didn't do anything for him. I was just like saying good night to him, and then that's just like what came out of his heart. That probably like did internal emotional things to me that, than a lot of other situations in life.
Yeah.
And I think that like then you realize like, oh wow, like if I go to God, like with a simple prayer, like God have mercy, right? Like so there's this like whole practice of Lord have mercy, like repetition in some traditions and stuff like that. Or just like a quick prayer, quick conversation with God. I think like my prayer has probably changed into like I'll pray things and I'll just say like, God, would you please do this for me because I know you love me. Like it's like super simplistic, but it's true. I think children have brought that into that conversation. So Ivan says,
And you also understand how annoying you are towards God.
me or you?
No, in
Oh.
general. Like, because kids annoy you and you love them, but they're so annoying, constantly doing the same thing, the wrong stuff over and over again. And you're like, wait, that's what I do towards God. And sometimes you want to shake them and say, why don't you get it? And then you understand that. That's what you
Please
do.
never shake your children.
Yes, do not shake your children. But I'm sure,
But you might want to.
yes. And God wants to shake us too sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. So I'm trying to multitask here, and you can say stuff.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. There's stuff on there. Okay, so Ivan says, awesome. That's her brother's name.
Yeah.
But
But he spells it differently.
Yeah.
He writes it Aiven.
Yeah, it's Ivan. It's a Russian name. Slavic. Awesome. My wife and I have been married for 11.5 years.
Same as us.
Yeah.
Almost at 12.
Yeah. We got married in May of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good job.
May the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ever forget that.
Why?
Why did we get married on May 4th?
Yes.
I don't know. Why did we get married on May 4th? There was
You
no
don't
reason.
know?
It wasn't Star Wars Day. We didn't do it because it was Star Wars Day.
No, we didn't. You don't know why?
No.
I was very specific with the date.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You forgot?
I don't remember why this is why.
I'm not gonna answer it. You think about
This
it.
is women, bro. This is women. They come up with
There
something.
is a very specific reason why it's May and why it's the 4th.
4 is your favorite number.
Good job.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm just like trying to logically
Ding, ding, ding,
deduce
ding, 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 ding.
And May is the 5th month, which is 1 plus.
No.
I don't know. It's spring. I don't know.
Nope.
Okay, you have to tell me. I don't remember.
I've always wanted to, like, May is my favorite season to get, or month to get married in. So I always wanted.
How many times have you been married?
No, I always wanted and wished to be married or to get married in May. And it happened that May 4th was a Saturday. So that's why.
Yeah, it had nothing to do
against-
with Star Wars. I'm just saying.
No, it had nothing to do with Star Wars.
She didn't even know what
Against
Star
your
Wars
dad's,
is.
Wish.
It's okay. That's because they have weird Armenian thoughts.
But you get half a point.
Yeah, I don't even remember that being part of the conversation.
It was.
They have 3 kids. Praise God. Good to see Christian couples striving today when many are avoiding marriage and kids.
Are they avoiding it? Or are they too stubborn to correct themselves and find a suitable?
No, people are
partner?
like not getting married. The younger generation is not getting married.
Why?
It's too risky is one of the research things. They're saying like, why would I get married? I make all these investments and then I'm going to get divorced anyways. So like, why?
That's
So there's
sad.
like cohabitation is,
Even in Christians?
even amongst Christians, there's quite a bit of cohabitation.
That's not good.
Marriage is hard, man.
It is very hard.
Yeah.
Being single is very easy.
Yeah. Because when you're single, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And when you're married, you are told what to do. That's not like I'm not trying to be funny there. And I don't just mean that towards guys. I hate that kind of thinking. Like, oh, guys are just told what to do. But like sometimes like it's just like your spouse tells you what to do. Kids.
It's not telling you what to do. It's just you're bound to considering them and their needs and things that have to be done. You have more responsibilities when you're married.
This is the difference between somebody who just is. She's an English teacher. She can color with words. So you're bound with the responsibilities. It's like yeah, life tells you what to do.
Okay.
Is that false?
No.
Okay.
But it sounds more negative.
I'm not. That's why I said I'm not trying to be like negative. I'm not trying to be like, oh, like who, you know. It's like your kids can't take care of themselves. So I take that as like your kids telling you what to do. It's like your life revolves around the life of other people.
Correct.
This is partly why some people don't even have more than 1 or 2 kids.
It's inconvenient.
It's very inconvenient. Tell us how inconvenient having children is.
Very. Extremely.
But so why have them?
Because they're a blessing and they're amazing.
That's good. So the inconvenience is worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
I wonder that's the strange thing, I guess, about living maybe in a culture where people don't want to be inconvenienced. Like most places in the world, life is inconvenient itself. Mm-hmm. We have it so good where we get inconvenienced very easily and we try to sort of avoid it and run away from it, including children. So like one of the passages that, you know, I was kind of discipled into is children, this is out of Proverbs. Children are arrows in a father's quiver. Remember when I talked to Jason about this and he says, my quiver is full, right? That's like such a positive view of kids. Mr. Pisabi says, hello, I'm looking for a third wife. Can I send a resume? No, we don't believe in multiple polygamous relationships. Mr. Pisabi, you might want to go and check out what the Hebrew Israelites are like up to. They have multiple kids. Multiple wives.
You should go back to your first wife and maybe have another child to make it 3. So instead of 3 wives, you should have 3 children.
How do you know Mr. Pisabi has 2 kids already?
I just assumed. Because usually in Iran, they stop at 2.
Oh, that's interesting. Why? Hey, Mr. Pisabi, why is it that Iranians don't have more than 2 kids? You tell us. Look at that. She made a deduction on knowing that you're Iranian and how many children you have. This is, by the way, Mr. Pisabi, the title of this whole stream is because of what you call me. So I called her Mrs. Apologetic. I can't do it in your accent. 4 is my second favorite number. That's hilarious. I didn't know there's like...
call and...
No, we can't have him call because he might say stuff that we can't substantiate. 4 is my second favorite number behind 7. Women are weird and men are a mess. But together, we are a weird mess.
That's true.
That's a line right there, man. That's speaking out of experience. Kids make you whole. This is a good line. This Josh has got some experience here, man.
Is he married?
It took all my time for over 18 years, but it made me a better person. Kids make you whole.
Is Josh married?
I'm assuming.
How many
children? He's got
children?
kids. I don't know if you said, Josh, did you say how many kids you have? You don't have to, by the way.
Because he wasn't the one that said they've been married 11 and a half years. No, that was,
No.
that was Ivan.
Anyone want to ask specific questions to Araz about relationships generally and specifically?
Or things about Arthur.
Oh, you guys can ask things about me. Ooh. But she is under no obligation to answer those questions.
I will be the judge of that.
So if
Any dirt you want, just let me know.
Oh gosh. This is That's it. This channel's over. Marriage is hard. I think when you're single, you don't realize how selfish and egocentric you are. Even before kids, there's a level of selfishness. Just add a spouse, kids make you grow up. That's true. That is very true. Hey, Alpha, how you doing?
You know, when we first got together, I kept telling you that you're a selfish person, and you kept disagreeing.
Yeah, because I
Remember?
wasn't brought up. So here's the thing: I was brought up to be a selfless person. Like, I think my mom did a really good job, kind of putting values in me to like share, and that was very, very important. Like, I've always been a giving individual. I've always been a sharing individual. I always shared a story about like like when I would go on field trips in like 7th grade, she would pack like 8 sandwiches. Like, she'd buy the whole like case of like however many breads there are, and she would make all of them and put it in my bag. And then so I would go to the field trip and just start passing food out. And so I visibly from and very given, like I became a Christian. I like always served. If there was a need, I met the need, like in those areas. But I think there's something like about all of us that's like internally, again, that like weird inconvenience. I don't know whether I would say selfish. I would still stand by that. But you've probably helped me like see that a lot more. Like, I remember when you were pregnant with Alvo, who was our first child, like waking up, like I didn't want to wake up in the middle of the night and get you water. But I did.
After complaining.
Well, yeah. I mean, being woken up in the middle of the night is no fun.
Yeah, because my back hurt and I couldn't move.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. So no need to get angry. Kid makes you crazy. Don't listen to lie. If I don't have kid, I go out and have good life. Now I deal with this. What does that mean?
Like headache. Like
Dardesar means headache.
not headache. Like I have a headache. Like
a headache of a thing. Like it's
yeah,
a pain.
yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Inconvenience.
Wow, Mr. Pisabi, you need to have a Christian idea of things.
I agree sometimes. It is. Having kids is a pain in the butt sometimes because it's not convenient. I think...
You know why?
I think for men, it's much easier than women because as a mom, if I want to go out, Arthur doesn't get it. As a mom, for me to be able to go out, I have to find a babysitter. So if it's Arthur or like, I have to make sure there's someone to watch.
I'm not a
kids.
babysitter.
You're
I have been
not.
told. I am the father.
You are a father that's responsible to stay and watch the kids. But then on top of that, I have to make sure the kids have food to eat. The kids, like everything is taken care of. And then I can go out. But men can just get up and leave whenever they want. They don't have to think about, is Aras going to be home to watch the kids?
This is true. But I do think this is partly cultural. Like, I don't want to be offensive towards certain cultures, but I know men of certain cultures who wouldn't.
What?
Like, be like, hey, I got to go somewhere.
Lucky them. Can we convert to that culture?
No. Because you also can't stand men like that. So there's always a trade-off. I had a question for you. Okay, so Ivan wants to know your testimony. He says, can she give her testimony? Arthur, yours as well. I haven't heard it. How did you both come to Christ?
I did it last time.
You did.
But then I learned that there's certain words I can't use.
Correct,
And
because
I got in trouble.
YouTube algorithm. There are alternative words that you don't know because you're not like in the internet culture.
Yes.
And I will help you with those words when you get there. And you'll think it's really weird because it's an abuse of the English language to use those words, but it's the way you get around things. See, the Pisabi says, this is why we need more wives in the house. One woman watch kids and the other one goes out. Problem solved. Oh, gosh. Some people actually argue for it like that.
I used to teach at a university where we had a lot of Arabs that would come to America to learn. And I actually had wives argue that it's important for men to have multiple wives.
Yeah. I have nothing to say about that.
So I don't know if it was cultural out of necessity or they actually understood that their husbands need to have more than one wife. And this lady had the nicest husband. Well, it appeared to be the nicest husband. And she was like, no, he needs to have more than one wife.
Yeah, I think quite a bit of that stuff is like religious convictions. Because obviously if the religion teaches it, they're going to be okay with that. And then you kind of grow up in that. Especially even if you grew up in a home like that, you're more like willing to accept that stuff. We're going to get to the testimony stuff, by the way. I haven't forgotten about that. We'll get to that. To Araz, what are the 3 most important things to a healthy relationship now versus when you first got married? Hang on. 3 most important things to a healthy relationship now versus when we got married. Well, they could be the same, no? Like it's,
I think they're
like communication would be like 1.
Yeah.
We have a weird way of communicating.
I think we have a horrible way of communicating. That has always been our issue.
Yeah.
Our number one issue is communication.
That's true. But like at points we've figured it out.
Have we?
Yeah? Yeah, you like send me emails. That's great. That I don't respond to. No, so one of the things we figured out is that like when we would get in arguments and we had like strong opinions about it and we were both defensive.
We both do.
We both have very strong personalities, as you can tell. My wife is not one to shy away from
an argument.
Yeah, or
a fight.
That's right. So we're both like type A personalities. And so, like, our arguments wouldn't be constructive. Like, we'd get in an argument.
No, because Arthur goes on rabbit trails and just gets lost.
You just cut me off. Respect that your husband, woman.
Yes.
So, oh, look at that Jerome coming through clutch. He said, hello, king and queen.
Aww.
Oh, that's Jerome.
Thank you. I forgot my tiara or crown.
Men wear crowns. Women wear smaller crowns. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so we would get in these arguments and it would be like very heated and it really was not productive. It's very unproductive. And there's a couple of things that work. We realized that... Yes, we realized. We realized that she didn't like verbal communication. She really liked writing stuff down. Like she would send me paragraphs of text.
Yeah, because our arguments wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I hate long texts. I dread them. When I see a long text from someone, I just...
So now I just email it to him.
So yeah, that's different, right? Like so that's one way is that like she...
Make sure it's organized, like bullet points.
Yeah, like the logic
point
of it and
point
stuff.
2, point 3. That's how we started talking.
That's true. We had an argument We started talking to each other by arguing with each other, and she wrote me a 5-point. No, she wrote me a page-long
No, but
argument.
they were still like
Yes.
organized.
Yeah, it was like this
Like,
Bible verse and this.
Yeah,
And then I responded to it with a 5-point response.
no, you just responded to my points.
There were 5 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 points of
And-
non-Calvinism.
And I won.
No, you didn't.
I did. I absolutely did.
Yeah, you won my heart.
No,
that's,
no, I
that's,
won.
That's what you won.
Wrong. You're so wrong theologically on that. But so that helped. Another thing is like if we like I think I have a pretty decent ability of sitting in the moment and letting her talk and taking notes. That's worked. I think that's healthy. Of like she can say all the stuff that she wants to say and I'll just take notes. Won't interrupt her. Like I'm talking about like intentional sit down conversation arguments. And then go, okay, like can I respond now? And then respond. So that's good. What else? What would you say is like healthy? I think quite a bit of this stuff.
One thing that we had to do, which was very good for us, remember we had to define how I feel love and how you feel love, because that was a lot of back and forth, because you were doing things thinking that I see it as love, but for me that was obligation and responsibility.
This is so
and
funny.
I was like, no, that's, you have to do that. I have to do that. That's not love.
I am way more sensitive than her on these issues. So there's things, for example, in the house. Like we realized this at like on the tail end of like a crazy argument, and we actually like sat down and I took notes, and I was like, wow. And that was what, like 3 years ago? Like this is crazy, guys. Like, you know, in marriage for like 9-10 years, and then you're like, wow, I just realized this. So there were things that she just thought were duties that you should do, and when she would do them, she would do them as her duty as a wife. But when she would do it, I would feel like loved. I was like, oh, my wife's doing these cool things. She doesn't have to, and she's doing it. And then when I would do things, I would view it from that same lens, like, oh, she's going to feel loved with me doing this. But she wouldn't see it from that lens. She would see it as, that's his duty. He's supposed to be doing this. And yeah, it's so crazy. It took us a while to actually like sit down and talk and argue and figure that out. That was very, very helpful. I think that's communicate
But
to
you
each
haven't
other.
actually, like, it stopped that communication. Have you done anything
With what?
to show love to me that I would
I
understand?
go, I love you. I think so. Don't ask me for a specific, because I can't think. Okay, the question is to Aras.
What?
That question is for you. He's telling
Oh,
me. He just told me to shut up.
I like that. You get a point. Arthur has a half a point.
Well, when I see him next time, I'm. Okay, go ahead. Answer the question.
But I agree with you.
See? That's the other thing, which is a healthy thing. Make your wife agree with you.
You don't have to make me
That's right.
agree with you. But one thing, it's not a like then and now, but I have a very dominant personality, and I'm a leader naturally. So when we started talking, like we've had barely just started talking, I had to have a conversation with myself, and I had to kind of calm myself down and remind myself that I can't be the leader of the relationship, and I cannot be, because when you're single, when I was single, I did whatever I wanted and dominant, leading everything, everyone, and I've always had a leadership role in everything. So yeah, I had to have a conversation and kind of step down from the throne and have you sit on the throne.
Yeah, you can tend to be bossy.
Still?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't like, not that you are, right? Like so.
I can be very.
So I'll tell you
bossy
something.
if I want to be.
There's the thing. I'll tell you something about Aras. She's like a natural problem solver, and she's really good at it. So she has the ability to like she organized a wedding in 6 months. Right, I sort of helped, but not really.
What? And I organized the wedding in 6 months and then redid it
in a week. In a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, that's a story. But like even like the other day we had an event, and it was like a day before I brought you all the stuff, 2 days before. I by the way I showed that sheet that you had made with all the like details. And Gore was like, wow. She's like, I've never done anything like this. And I was like, yeah, that's just her personality. Like she was able to like set up this whole thing, order stuff Amazon, like just she has the ability to problem solve and she does a really good job at it. And I think it's probably difficult for her if she notices things aren't being done, like for her to jump in and like do them. The weird thing is, I think if anybody has or is interested in someone that has that kind of a personality, probably one of the things that needs to be communicated is whether the individual is doing whatever or supposed to be doing whatever it is on your schedule or their schedule.
What do you mean? You lost me.
So like, let's just say if I say I'm going to do something and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll do that the day after tomorrow. Right? And then you think it should be done like by tonight. Mm-hmm. That becomes a problem, right? Because, and if that's not communicated, it's going to be what? Like you're going to try to do it and then there's going to be an issue. Then you'll probably complain about it and stuff like that. So I think those things matter. And some of this stuff really, really depends on personality types. Like there's things people mind. And then there's things that other people just don't mind. They don't care about. And it's an issue for some people and not others. So I think it's anecdotal. So that's why I said like communication should always be important. And you should always be growing. I don't know whether you like, I don't know whether you get to a perfect place like where you're perfectly communicating because different life stages require different things. The other thing is like modern expectations that haven't been in the past. Mm-hmm. Like we have access to each other 24/7, communication-wise. Where like in the past, you have access to me. You can text me.
Yeah,
you
but
can call
you
me.
Ignore.
Well, regardless, but you have access.
If certain friends that shall
That's
not
not
be
true.
named texted you, you would respond to them.
That is not true.
Okay, we'll do an experiment.
I will literally not respond to people. I will respond to people by like second, third day, unless I forget. You get responses to my text a lot faster than anybody else does.
Like a few hours later.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
But then if I don't pick up at that second,
yes,
then he blows
There's a
up.
big difference between answering a text and picking up your phone. Especially when your husband is calling you. Man, I was going to say something that was very important. Oh, like 30, 40 years ago, let's just say our parents, when they went to work, they didn't have access to each other until like they got back home. And I sort of think sometimes that was healthier.
Why?
Because distance is important. It's needed. Like everybody needs distance from each other. Do you disagree with me?
No, I agree.
Okay. Yeah. JP said she put you on blast. JP, if I had my wife come on your channel and debate people, your channel would have like 800,000 subscribers in like 3 days. This is why I'm such a good debater, because I argue with my wife. It's just my life.
You missed a lot of stuff.
It's okay. See, like we'll go back to it. It's fine. It's right here. What do you want to answer? Which one?
I don't know.
We didn't even say three things for this Ara Shahabande, who told me to shut up. Well, we'll see about that. I'm going to remember that. This is surprising.
What's surprising?
C-Dop said, you marry the one you love. How can you love more than one? Oh, that's about like, well, I guess like your definition of love matters.
Yeah.
Like there's cultures that don't view love as a romantic thing necessarily.
I don't think love is always romantic.
This is why she's my
that
wife.
fades away. The romance fades away.
But I can write you a poem.
No, you don't. You can write your friends a poem.
No.
But you
I haven't written poetry in a very long time.
But you wrote one to Hachik.
It's like 3 lines.
Yeah.
For his birthday.
Did you write one for me?
I will. For your birthday. 3 lines. Oh, the pomegranate of my life.
So you used to write poetry and then you met me and stopped.
No, I stopped writing poetry. This
The day
is
you
good
met
because
me.
I'm trying to get it. She doesn't even know this, by the way. So like, she'll find out about it. But I stopped writing poetry when I had a computer and I had like 200 something poems on that computer saved. And it crashed and died. And I was like, this is worthless. Here's the funny thing. I have a text thread with Avo Ajemyan. Okay? And Avo says to me yesterday,
that you wrote him a poem and
listen
you
to
didn't
this.
write
So I
for him.
asked him about some stuff that I had forgotten. And then I said, I might just be confused. And then he wrote back to me today at 10 in the morning. He wrote, maybe it was your poem Certainty. And then I was like, did I write a poem by that name? He's like, yes. I said, how do you remember it? He said, bro, my memory is the only thing I can trust blindly. You know that, and yet you question that. Certainty. And then he's like, go find it now. And I was like, where? He's like, starting a book. It might be published in a book. I know there's at least one that I wrote for a friend that got published in a book. So, but
I wrote a poem long time ago and it got published
oh, I didn't know this.
when I was little.
So here's the thing. We were in discussions and with the church leadership guys, and we're talking about churches developing their own worship music. And so one of the things I've been trying to do is get back into writing. Specifically, I want to write lyrics for worship music. And I have a couple of things compiled, but they're not like fully in order.
This is news to me.
Yeah, they're not fully in order. So, and so I will write, I want to write the lyrics, and then me and our worship leader, Tomek, will sit together, and he'll do the music.
Just
and
make
stuff
sure
like
you
that.
don't sing.
No.
Good.
No, he'll do the music to it, and then maybe make it a bit more, I think, like rhymey and all that stuff. So I have some stuff written, but it's not. So I'm trying to get into that, and hopefully maybe that'll spark my interest again in writing poetry for others, including you.
And one
You
thing,
say amen to that.
okay, another thing I'll say about it has to do with love and the choice. So, as a Christian, my number one priority was to marry someone that was a believer and was a stronger believer than I was, or I am, because I wanted a leader. I didn't want to lead. I wanted the husband, the man of the house, to lead. And I made the decision to marry Arthur with the assurance that whatever happens, God will be the center of our relationship. And no matter what comes, because every marriage will have problems, no matter what comes, we will deal with it with God in the center.
Amen.
Or else I wouldn't marry Arthur.
Worship songs about the YouTube channel as well. No, that's weird, bro. Actually bullied on his own stream. Insane. You think my wife bullies me?
Do I bully you?
Jerome thinks you bully me. You write her 4 lines, Arthur. I'll write her 5. Four lines. Can I write you a haiku?
Sure.
Arthur must have an angelic voice.
This is a sickness of the highest order.
Yes, I do. To God. That's it.
Yeah.
Only to God.
Only.
Oh man. I keep like losing my trains of thought today. It's really weird. I had a headache last night, and today I was supposed to stream a lot earlier, and
Is Ara content with
I don't know if
my
Ara is
answer?
content. Ara's probably not content. He's just
Why are you
uncontent
so angry?
about existence
Be nice.
because he was mean to me.
Good. You deserve it.
She laughed. No, it's not. It's completely fine that she laughs
Oh,
at the
he
fact
knows
that
it.
I don't have a good voice.
Oh, he knows it.
I have a radio voice and a radio face, but that was supposed to be funny.
No, you do. No.
A radio face? That means I'm ugly.
I was thinking YouTube.
That's nice what your wife said about marrying you.
About your voice or marrying?
Marrying me. You didn't marry me for my voice.
Yeah, definitely.
We spoke about some of this stuff on the last time you were on, but it was also like a maturity thing. Like we spoke about, we probably wouldn't have gotten married and been interested in each other if we had met each other earlier in life because of where we were and kind of expectations or beliefs we had about certain things. My discontent is legendary, says Ara. Yeah, we know. See, she's actually so funny. Do I bully you after asking you that leading question about you not writing poetry for her? See, Jerome is a smart guy. He's smarter than the average bear. I said it was nice, but you're nice. I'm just confused, man. Some of the comments are really confusing. What would you grade this as an English teacher?
That's sad. Why would you put someone down like that?
I'm just saying. It's confusing to me. It's a confusing comment. I'm sorry.
You need to
No,
come
it's
to my class and read
no.
some stuff.
No, thank you. She's an English teacher. Hey, you guys, do you think my wife should have her own YouTube channel?
We're back at that again?
So I've been trying to convince my wife. Let me just say something about her. My wife is a phenomenal teacher of the English language. Okay.
I don't agree, but okay.
That's not true. You have certificates to prove it. Like national recognitions. That doesn't
which
just
I
randomly
couldn't
happen.
go.
Oh, sorry. You had a baby. She's a really, really good English teacher. And I think part of the reason why she's a good English teacher is because she learned English as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trilingual. She speaks Armenian, Farsi, and English. And she hates being on camera. This is like, she didn't want to do this. I sort of was like demanded that she needs to do this.
A lot of convincing.
Yeah. And I think she hates being on camera. I think if she starts a YouTube channel, where she teaches people English, I'm talking about people who don't even understand what is your name, right? Most of your students are 0 level. They don't know anything.
Yeah, because I like that level.
Yeah. She likes the level where it's the hardest. Like people don't know what is your name. And I've been trying to convince her to start her YouTube channel. And I've told her, all you would need to do is come in on one day, record like 8 videos, 10-minute videos. I will edit them, put them up on YouTube. I think it would do really well. Jerome said, Jerome doesn't even need to learn how to speak English. He said, based on what she said so far, I'd watch her channel for sure.
American English.
He
Isn't
interacts
British?
with American. He's British. He's a Brit. Look at that. Yes, she should have her own YouTube channel for sure.
But they're biased.
What would her slogan be? You got this. Oh, what would your slogan be?
I don't know. That's your department.
Yeah, we'd have to like market it. Like, I don't know. Something. I don't want to. English in 10 minutes or something like that. I'm pretty sure that exists already.
I have to go soon, by the way.
She's going to abandon me.
Yes, because
I kept telling people.
Because I have children and I have responsibilities. I don't have the luxury to
it's
just
true. But we have
sit
19
here for
people in
hours.
here. Okay, so here's what we'll do, guys. How many minutes? 15 minutes.
Okay.
We can end the stream in 15 minutes. Here's
Okay.
what I'll say. 15 minutes of kind of quick fire questions for Araz regarding anything.
Okay.
Go. You guys think about that. Testimony. Quick testimony. Someone asked about that. We never answered it.
Huh?
Someone asked about it.
Oh, yeah.
Your testimony. Try to keep it short, like an elevator pitch testimony.
Okay.
Say it's a long elevator.
So I grew up. I was born into a Christian family. Grew up in a Christian family. Started going to Sunday school from what I remember. So I've always learned to love God. I had my grandpa reading the Bible daily, and I would just sit by his feet and he would just read. So I've had a Christian influence in my life, and I've had a very good relationship with God from as early as I can remember. So I would say I became a born again believer at 11, and later when I got older. I would always say, I don't have a testimony. I've always believed in God. I love God. And I can't imagine living life without God. And when I was 15, 16, my uncle, whom I loved, got sick. And because I love God, I believed that if I prayed for him, he would get healed. So I started praying for him, and I was waiting for a miracle. I was so sure that it was going to happen. He was going to be healed. And so any day I was waiting for him to call and say that he's been healed. And one day I got home from high school and things were different. There were men standing outside, like relatives standing outside wearing black. And so I walked up the stairs, and I found out that my uncle had passed away in a very traumatic way, because I opened the door and I had people crying, like a lot of people at my house. And my mom obviously was devastated and crying, and that's how I found out that he had passed away. So that shattered me, and I went... Can I say?
So here's the way around this word. The which word?
The D word.
Death?
No. Deep.
Oh, you can say that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went in depression, and
My wife doesn't watch YouTube a lot, by the way.
I don't watch YouTube at all. So I went in a very deep depression to the point that I was like, I don't want to pray for anyone, because most probably my uncle passed away because of maybe I sinned or I prayed in a wrong way, and that's why he passed away, and that's why God didn't heal him. So I did not want to pray for him, for anyone, because I was scared that they would pass away. So what I did is I started praying for myself, because I wanted to be done. Is that a good way?
Yeah, the kids now, they say unalive myself.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
Like, and I'm a type that if I decide something, I will go all the way. I have no fear. And in my head, once I decide something, I have thought of, because I'm a problem solver, I've thought of every solution, every possibility, and if I make a decision, I've made a decision with knowing all aspects, and I am ready to face all the consequences if I make a decision. So for me, I was like, that's it. There is no point for me here on this earth. So I tried different ways, and I tried different ways to unalive myself, and it was
How old were you? 15?
15, 16. Yeah. And people would see around me because I had lost a lot of weight, and I had really dark circles under my eyes, and my family saw it, but I had shut everyone out. Like, I would not let anyone comment or say anything, and the only reason why I didn't go through with it all the way, I tried many ways, but there was always something holding me back, and that was the only thing was that I didn't want. My mom had already lost a brother, and it was very devastating for her, and I didn't want her to go through losing a child, and that was the only thing that kept me not from going all the way. So this continued, and one day someone at our church approached me and invited me to a prayer meeting. That was a very closed group prayer meeting because they wanted it to be strictly for prayer, and they didn't want goofing around or anything. So they invited me. I went to the prayer meeting, and there I learned to forgive myself and kind of understand that it's not my fault that my uncle passed away. So through that, I found healing through that prayer meeting, and then slowly I started praying for other people, and then right after around 17, I started teaching at church. And I found joy again in life. Did you just mute me?
Yeah, can you talk?
What do you want me to say?
No, I muted myself, not you. Okay, thank you.
That was it. Was that short?
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's completely fine. There'll be plenty of options for me to share my testimony if you guys are interested in other streams, but it's very different than hers. Like in regards to Christian influence and having family members and really good Christian influence. I like that. I like the fact that she's got a heritage of Christians. And I don't. As far as I know, I'm the first Christian in my family. So, and even like her kind of being more like raised in the church, but going through this wrestling with God and kind of emotional issues that are happening, where for me it was a bit more like rigid intellectual kind of pursuit, and that led me to Christ. Yeah, I mean that's been that. Tomek says, for those of us who are raised in the church, our sanctification has a greater story than our justification. That's a good way of saying that. Mm-hmm. Let's see if there's some other.
Can we do one last question?
For me?
No, for me. You can stay. I don't care. I just have to go, and I have
Okay.
people at my house.
I'm
that I've
curious
left.
about you, why you would have thought it was your fault in the first place. If you wouldn't mind trying to help me understand that.
Because I believe that. So all throughout my life, I've had a very close relationship with God. Like he has been my best friend through everything. So I just felt that because I believe that he was going to heal my uncle, I had no other explanation than maybe it's because of me that I have sinned, or I asked in an incorrect way. So
Yeah, I would just say it's the false theology of a 15-year-old kid who doesn't know any better and who hasn't been taught any better. Like
Yeah.
that's just
but
frankly the
I
case.
did not, like, no one has taught me that it's like if someone doesn't get healed, it's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's very important. I think that's a learning, like these experiences I bring into kind of the way I minister is like there's individuals in the church who have this transactional relationship with God, and that's problematic. And it can lead to stuff like that. Again, speaking to her and hearing these stories, I go, man, like you want to teach the Bible properly so that people don't have these incorrect expectations as to why God does things and doesn't do other things. We have a super chat, which is someone paid. My wife doesn't know these things. Someone paid to ask a question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I would have done it for free.
This is actually a friend. Grigor says $20 super chat. Appreciate it, Grigor.
Thank you.
He says,
You
how
get
do you
5
guys
points.
how do you guys get over major disagreements?
We argue until we find a solution.
Yeah,
That's another thing for marriage. Once you're married, you're married. Like, you don't give up. I was talking to a friend, and she was asking me how I would deal with like a disagreement, or like if I didn't like what she did, and she was like, "Would you just like ghost me?" And so my response was to her, and it's true for Arthur, like our relationship too. If I care about something, I will fight until the end, until there is no other option. And if I don't fight, that means I don't care. So that's my personality.
And I fight too. I fight back.
So we fight until we find a solution.
Some people might misunderstand what we mean by fight.
No, we don't fight
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do want
we
to.
we don't advocate for physical violence.
No.
One of the things I would say is compromise and then actually looking for a solution to a problem rather than, I think, just blaming one another.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like, okay, how are we going to solve this issue? The issue is there clearly. We disagree about it clearly. Let's figure out why we disagree about it. You know, sometimes we disagree about it and you realize, oh, the reason why I disagree is because here's what most of the time it's expectations, I would say. But I know this sounds like a very boring way of doing things. I just say pick up a pen and a pad, sit down, write like pros and cons out, see what the expectations are, see why they want that, why you want the other thing, and then try to figure out a solution. Always be willing to compromise. I would say 9 out of 10 times you'll actually find the answer to that question.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes longer. So you know how there are some people, and like I commend them for that they do not go to sleep until they solve it. But for us, that has not been the case, because
I sleep just fine.
Yeah, me too. Because our arguments take a long time, because when there is a problem, first we need a few days for it to cook, and for us not to attack, but actually be level-headed. And then after however long it takes for us to be level-headed, I am usually the one that sits down and writes the points, because usually he's the one that's wrong. So I write. You're muted.
I know. I muted myself.
It's true.
That's not true. But
It is.
okay.
So I write it with points and I send it to him. So, and then he has the time to read and think and then respond.
Well, that's partly
and,
because I like processing the information. Like
and then like after you respond, sometimes it's easy because there are shorter arguments and then there are longer problems.
you know, it's easy because I actually recognize my shortcomings a lot quicker than most people.
Oh yeah, he's very
Yeah.
quick. I think that's something that has helped our marriage is he's very quick to see his mistakes and apologize.
Yeah,
for them.
I'm not pretentious. Like I think that's like a plus in regards to like I don't think higher than myself. Like if I'm wrong about something, I'll say I'm wrong, and then like own up to it. But I also have the ability to figure out like if you say you did this, this, and that. And let me just say something that's very important. I remember we had an argument, and it was like we were just like really not seeing eye to eye, and I actually came here to work and to read my Bible, and I sat down. I was reading out of Peter, where Peter says like, reconcile with your wives essentially, or else like your prayers are hindered. I'm paraphrasing there, but I was like, oh man, I can't even talk to God because I'm in an argument with my wife. Like I say that because like if I'm in an argument with her that's like an unresolved issue, it really hinders my relationship with Jesus. Like I can't in good conscience go to Jesus and just be like, okay, like it's cool because I think it's a way for God to kind of strong arm me to resolve my issues. And I can see like all sorts of reasons why that's a good thing, like being in ministry and doing all sorts of stuff. It's like, no, you got to like take care of this fast. So it's very important that you go to God as well. And especially if you're the man, like go to God and let God convict you and teach you. Not saying that women should do that too. Again, she says, most of the time I'm wrong. Like, I don't know. Like we don't keep track like that to sit there and say that like actually. Well, the Bible says, love keeps no record of wrong. So just saying. But women ought to do that as well. Like go to God, seek God and say, God, if I'm wrong here, show me and so on and so forth. That's very important. It helps the marriage. He's wrong. David, you've been married long enough to know how this works. Excellent answer. I like your wife. Thank you. I like her too.
I hope so.
Thanks for that question, Grigor. I think that was a really good
Yes,
question.
very good question.
What else? I think we should be good, but I kind of want to end with a specific question to you. I have a unique way of thinking and processing information and just like being cerebral. What's been like the most challenging thing with dealing with me, considering like quite often I'm in my own head? See, like this isn't rehearsed. Marriage sounds like work. Yeah, that it is, my young friend. That it is.
It is. I don't get your question.
So I'm saying that I process information internally quite a bit.
Okay.
Like how's that been difficult for you?
You ignore me most of the time because you're in your head or you're in your phone.
Talk into the mic.
You're in your head or you're in your phone.
That's true. That's true because I'm checking analytics.
Are you 24/7?
No, not on my phone 24/7. I was in a meeting for 8 hours the other day. I wasn't on my phone. I guarantee you that. I was expecting a different sort of answer.
What answer were you expecting?
Well, I don't know what answer I was expecting, but I don't know whether you understand the question fully. So like
I understand that.
The thing is like you don't see emotional reactions very often from me.
No, I don't want emotional reactions from you.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get them because that's just not who I am.
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying
why
is
I married you. I wouldn't marry an emotional.
She married me for my brain. Everybody.
Yeah.
I know, man, Jerome. I'm like, this stream's gonna go down after this. It's gonna get deleted.
Why?
Because they're saying you're bullying me.
How am I bullying you?
This is great. If I tell my wife she's bullying me, she'd never believe me. But there's other people. Intervention.
Don't. Now he's gonna.
No.
I say he's gonna say you're
It's okay.
me.
Jerome's British. They're funny.
Don't be.
Don't say it. Don't. Oh, this is why I married her. This is why I tell people to stop being a sissy. I'm saying like being married to someone who's like highly cerebral. I don't want to say stuff because it's gonna sound like I'm saying I'm really smart.
You are smart.
I am smart. More smart than the average bear. The difficulty of having to deal with a personality type like that is what I'm trying to say. There's quite a bit. The reason why I asked this is because this is an apologetics channel and it attracts analytical people.
Okay.
So I'm assuming a lot of the audience on this channel is attracted to me and my way of processing information and being analytical.
But I don't see a problem with that.
I'm not saying it's a problem, but that clearly comes out in certain issues in life. So like, I don't want to answer it for you.
Answer it and I'll say if I agree or not. I don't mind.
So like, right, like you do want to see emotional reactions in the sense of like communication of love.
Yes.
Okay, that's the sort of stuff I'm talking about because people who tend to be cerebral aren't very in tune with other parts of their.
I don't know if I agree.
Okay. Do you want to have a debate about that?
Yes.
Okay, next time. She's going to come on. We're going to have a debate over this. This is the best live stream, but she has to go, and I have to go as well.
Why do you have to go?
Look, this.
Why don't you share why you have to go?
Because it's already in the comment section. They can read.
I know.
It's in the comment section. They can read. Hey, boo boo. I'm smarter than the average bear. Yes. Yeah. So my wife. Here's one thing my wife said, and we didn't do this, but I'd like to do this. She said, "I'm not coming on your channel. The only way I will come on your channel is if people send in questions."
Yeah, but you still forced me.
Yes.
And this is love. This is me
I
showing him
demanded it.
love.
This is true. It's hard work. It's a lot of work for her to do something like this. It's actually like draining for her. For me, it's like I can do this for another like 8 hours. But one of the things we might want to do is on the Discord channel or something like that, create something where people input questions and then we can have her back on and then I can just read those questions to her and then people can jump in as
And
well.
I don't want the questions to rehearse or think about them. She just
wants to know she just wants to be prepared.
People have questions.
Yes. I don't see a question. I am a social creature. Okay, well, thank you for coming and being on the
You're
podcast.
welcome.
I know it's a lot of work.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. The channel is
you. I'm
growing. I
talking
know.
to the
I know you're very welcome. She's like, thank you for allowing me to be your wife.
No,
I'm like,
not
yes,
you.
you're
No.
very welcome, you know. Some of the stuff that we say on this channel, like some people might watch it, and I really want, like you were talking about, like the men leading and all this sort of conversations. Some of that's biblical stuff,
Of course.
clearly. Some of it's also just cultural stuff.
Which one was not biblical but
No,
cultural?
like for me, it like the fact that my wife knows how to cook and learns and cooks well is important. That's a cultural
Well, we
thing.
didn't
there's
talk about that.
I know. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Some of that stuff that will get mentioned because some people might be like, "Oh, she said this. He must be like forcing her or something like that." There's weird people on the internet. Wait, can we ask any question? MJ, you're
Yes,
late.
any question, but not today. I have to go.
She has to
I
go.
have a child that needs to sleep.
Yes, that's
or
true.
baby, not a...
The baby's coming. The baby turned 9 months.
Yes.
That's fast.
That is very fast. I can't believe it.
That's
I feel like she was born yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on. Maybe next time we can have a more direct sort of thing that you can answer and be involved in conversations. Maybe they can ask you apologetic questions.
Okay.
Will you answer apologetic questions?
We'll see. I have a husband.
Keeping you guys in suspense.
No more kids. No.
This is a sickness of the highest
Oh,
order.
man.
Is that the David we know? Or
That is, I know, but that's David. He lives in New Jersey. I've spoken about him, but it might be not the David that you're thinking. There's a lot of Davids on this channel.
okay, we have
Okay.
to go. See, he just likes to talk and talk and talk.
I just want to keep her here longer, but wait, hang on. By the way, there's a lag. That's the other thing you don't know about YouTube.
Oh,
Like the stuff we say here, and by the time
yeah,
it gets there,
noticed.
there's a lag. So when I say ask a question, they're not hearing that immediately. It's like there's like an 8-second lag.
8 seconds?
Something like that,
That's,
yeah. It's
For
yeah.
technology, that's pretty.
that's
slow.
it's intentional.
Okay.
And it's also depending on the softwares and all that stuff. I remember that one time I spoke to you about your need to find a wife that already knows how to cook. Yes, that was true. Hey, I think wives should cook. Call me old-fashioned.
Okay, I need
Okay.
to go.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you,
going to end the
everyone.
stream. Hey guys, thanks. Appreciate it. We will be back on. I will be back on. Definitely. And then one of these days we'll have her back on.
Think of questions.
Think of questions specific to marriage,
Any.
dating, anything like that. So please do it again. I'll have my wife watch.
Aw,
David's wife loves watching my channel out of all the channels on YouTube. She
That's so
overhears
nice.
it, she goes, play it. Arthur's decent.
aw.
So,
that's nice.
yes.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you guys. We will see you hopefully Monday. If not Tuesday, if not Wednesday. But definitely we'll see you. Take care. God bless.